Good evening and welcome to Poland Daily. I'm Nicholas Richardson and this is the news. The Bumar Wabendi mechanical plant in Gliwice will start to produce Krab cannon howitzers and service German Leopard 2 tanks. The total defence budget this year could be as much as 150 billion zloty, one-third of which will remain in the country. And in the next 2 years, Poland will have the largest land army in the European Union. Poland's defence industry is experiencing dynamic profit growth, according to an analysis of export data. In 2021, the value of exports reached nearly €500 million. 2 battalions of Leopard 2 tanks, both version 4 and version 6, have arrived or will soon arrive in Ukraine. And all of these tanks will be serviced and repaired here in Gliwice. This is an opportunity for the company to grow in the future. There is also a chance for additional jobs to be created. However, according to Civic Platform politicians, investments made by the Law and Justice government and decisions on import threaten both the interests of state-owned companies and private business. Such were your discussions in Starowa Wola? There, people keep wondering why the crabs, which are making such a splash on the Ukrainian-Russian front, and there, people are wondering why the Law and Justice government has decided that giant purchases in Korea are better than those battle-tested and manufactured entirely here in Poland, in Stalowa Wola. In this context, Prime Minister Mateusz Morawiecki accuses Civic Platform leader of having a short memory. He, the destroyer of Polish industry, the gravedigger of the arms industry. Recall the armed industry. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a long time since I've seen someone who shot himself in the knee in this way, at least, because it was in his time that the armaments industry was rolled up. There, in that province, in Podkarpacie, 8,000 people went on the street. Then unemployment reached almost 2.5 million people, more than 2,300,000 people. Today we have the second lowest unemployment in the entire European Union. This is proof of the industrial policy of Law and Justice. The avalanche of arms orders caused by Russia's aggression against Ukraine has translated into the development of heavy industry in Poland. On the 5th of April, the Polish Armaments Group and the Ukrainian company ART-EM concluded an agreement on cooperation in the production of tank ammunition. Polish Krab cannon howitzers are also serving the Ukrainians at the front. All investments planned by PGZ are estimated at 9 billion zloty, equivalent to the profits the group generated in 2020. It can be said that in all areas of all arms domains we have big orders. A lot is going on, but we are also making a great number of investments. The Polish Armaments Group is becoming a tycoon in armaments production. One can cite such programs in which we participate as HIMARS or Chonmu. These are missile projects, but we are also in talks to operate Abrams and Leopards. This is already happening, but also the production of K2 and the production of K9 cannon howitzers. As a result of the war in Ukraine, Poland recorded a 14-fold increase in exports of bombs and ammunition. On the other hand, in 2021, the export of aircraft parts was practically non-existent. A year later, its value exceeded 3 billion zloty. In addition to its role as an important exporter, Poland remains a major transit country for Ukrainian arms, with an 80% share. After these consultations, where it was decided to allocate 2 billion to help purchase ammunition for Ukraine, the dominant country that will be the producer and therefore the beneficiary of this 2 billion is Poland. Any company in the Polish arms industry, and not only state-owned but also private, will really have something to do. Let's hope they make it on the contracts, because it will be very difficult. Equally positive news is coming from the stock market. The stock price of Lubawa, a manufacturer of, among other things, helmets and bulletproof vests, has already jumped by 400% since the beginning of the military operations in Ukraine. Lublin-based Protector, a manufacturer of boots for the army, also recorded a gain. Its share price more than doubled. Western Europe needs to make up a bit for such nonchalance in disarming itself. They are being restored, and these manufacturing competences are also coming to Poland. And this can be seen in the means that are at least officially used in Ukraine, that is, for example, Grot carbines, ammunition, but also drones. The defence budget this year may amount to as much as 150 billion zloty, a third of which will remain in Poland. The Defence Ministry plans to buy modern tanks, aircraft and anti-aircraft systems. By 2035, Poland will have 300,000 soldiers in what will be the European Union's largest land army. Microsoft has announced the launch of its first cloud computing centre in this part of Europe. This is the finalization of an investment announced 2 years ago, which was to cost $1 billion, entirely financed by Microsoft. At the same time, Prime Minister Mateusz Morawiecki announced the creation of a brand new investment in Silesia.
During the third day of the European Economic Congress, Prime Minister Mateusz Morawiecki announced the creation of the first data processing center in this part of Europe, in the so-called digital cloud. The investor is the U.S. conglomerate Microsoft. This is the best proof that Poland is a magnet for American investment. Therefore, we want to be in the vanguard, or at least among those who are developing cloud technologies around the world. Microsoft began preparing for this investment as early as 3 years ago. To date, more than 400,000 IT professionals, researchers and students have been trained.
We as Microsoft are committed to be your trusted partner in country, to be your trusted partner in the operation. We want to be your partner of innovation. We want to do it across all industries, across all opportunities. And we are here to make it secure. We have seen and been addressed on the risk of security. And the opportunity having capability here gives you the next opportunity to think through what cyber defense and cybersecurity means for your organization, but also for your government.
Prime Minister Mateusz Morawiecki also announced the creation of a brand new investment in the Silesia region. An IT center for the Financial Supervisory Commission will be established here. Today, the Silesian voivodeship is probably second or third among all Polish voivodeships in terms of unemployment, one of the lowest levels of unemployment in all of Poland. So we are opening up. We are opening up further to investors, to investment, to attracting talent. But we are also going to create the best possible conditions for the development of the IT industry, not only in Poland, but in the whole of Central Europe.
Nie tylko w Polsce, ale w całej Europie Środkowej.
The European Economic Congress kicked off on Monday. Panel discussions with experts and CEOs of Polish and international companies debated, among other topics, the inflationary forecasts of green and digital transformation, as well as the development of artificial intelligence. One of the most important topics that ran through all 3 days of the Congress turned out to be the issue of rebuilding Ukraine after the war. It was stressed that one of the conditions to be met was the issue of rebuilding the transportation system in the eastern part of Europe. In this whole context, the resilience, competitiveness, and the economic security of Europe has become particularly important. And we talk a lot about it here, about what to do to make Europe competitive, secure, so that we have certainty of supply, certainty of good prices, so that in this battle of the superpowers, including China, aggressive Russia, and a very competitive economy of the United States, so that we can find our own path. The 15th edition of the European Economic Congress gathered as many as 11,000 participants this year. As many as 170 panel discussions were held during the 3 days of debates. Undoubtedly, the announcement of Microsoft's American investment in our country is the biggest success of the event. From Katowice, Łukasz Żmuda, TV Republika.
An apartment building was damaged in the Russian-held city of Donetsk in eastern Ukraine in what local media says was shelling by Ukrainian forces. The Reuters news agency was unable to independently verify the reports. Local residents said they heard a loud noise followed by a pall of black smoke rising from the site. There were no reports of casualties or fatalities following the explosion. Black smoke rose up. Then I looked to see that the dog had run into the kennel. Her paw was dangling. It had been killed. A man helped me get the dog out. I saw that it was cut near the tail and on the side. The chandelier fell in the kitchen. The chandelier fell. I didn't realize it was broken. And there was a rumble. I had a bed here. I was here the whole time. At my table here. At this time I went out. Donetsk, capital of the Ukrainian province of the same name, has been controlled by Russian proxy forces since 2014, but remains close to the front line of Russia's war with Ukraine and regularly comes under fire from Ukrainian forces. China called on all sides to reflect on the situation in Ukraine and seek a new way to reach peace in Europe earlier today, after President Xi Jinping held a telephone call with his Ukrainian counterpart, Volodymyr Zelensky. China always stood on the side of peace on the Ukraine issue. China advocates political settlement of the crisis and promotes talks for peace. It is hoped that all sides will reflect on the Ukraine crisis and seek a new way for everlasting peace in Europe together. Chinese state media reported that during their phone call, Xi Jinping told Zelensky that China would send special representatives to Ukraine and hold talks with all parties seeking peace. Xi Jinping, the most powerful world leader to have refrained from denouncing Russia's invasion of Ukraine, made a state visit to Russia last month. Since February, he has promoted a 12-point peace plan for Ukraine, greeted with skepticism from the West, but cautiously welcomed in Kyiv. China will focus on promoting peace talks and make efforts for a ceasefire as soon as possible, Xi tells Zelensky, according to the Chinese state media report. Following the call, Zelensky immediately signalled the importance of the chance to open closer relations with Russia's most powerful friend, naming a former cabinet minister as Ukraine's new ambassador to Beijing. That's the news. Thank you for watching. Stay with us for the weather, Poland Daily Business and more programmes. But from me, it's have a good night and a better tomorrow.